Hello, my dears! Independence Day is soon, even though July 4th being Independence Day makes no sense because that's the day that they signed the Declaration, but it was ratified on July 2nd, so we should technically celebrate the 2nd, but that's not why we're here. Also, I'm not the kind of person who goes, yay, Murica! I like to make my videos vaguely topical to the holidays going around in the outside world if I can. I typically do a terrible job, but this month I've kind of been killing it. Also, it's the last video of Pride Month, so I have my pride dress on. So, Anyway, we're talking about independence. So the definition of independence, according to Google, is the fact or state of being independent, which whoever wrote that clearly didn't go to first grade where you learned that you can't use the word or root of the word in the definition of the word. But anyway, the definition of independent, according to Google, it's free from outside control, not depending on others' authority, and not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. I am going to simplify that to not depending on others. I think we can all agree that that is a good definition. So this is the thing that people want for disabled people. It's constantly talked about from ABA to occupational therapy to educational institutions to literally every person across the globe. They want disabled people to not depend on others. Which, when you look at that sentence, it really just kind of looks like they're saying they want disabled people to not be a burden on society, which is clearly what they're thinking when they say that they want us to be independent, because is anybody truly independent? I mean, we all have friends and family that we ask for help sometimes, so what things are considered friendly asking for help things? And what things are considered a burden? Like, is it independent to cook your own dinner? Are you therefore dependent if you order takeout? Does that make you a burden on society? What about taking public transport? Are you independent because you're going somewhere by yourself? Or are you dependent because you're relying on the bus driver to get you somewhere? Does that make you a burden on society? What about calling a friend for help to talk you through a breakup? Or asking them to come over and help you move? What is it? Now, some of these things you may be responding to with, well, I mean, yeah, that might be dependent, but like I can also do those things on my own. It's just easier with help. And that, friends, is my point, because somehow asking for help making a phone call is dependent, and somehow asking somebody else to drive when you aren't feeling well, or asking somebody to order for you at a restaurant, or for help carrying a backpack. Could I do all those things on my own? Yes, I could. Would it make me feel significantly more ill for a longer term than I would have if I asked for help? Also, yes. It's not being a burden, it's acknowledging your limits and taking opportunities to save energy when we can so that we can do more in a day. And even if we can't do the thing, what is wrong with that? If we can't do the thing and it's that necessary and we aren't in a situation where we can ask for help, which we most of the time are, we'll just find a way to work around it. Yes, it'll take more energy than asking for help. It may be in a different time frame and it may look a little different, but we can still pretty much figure it out. But also, what is wrong with asking for help? Why is it normalized for an adult to ask for tech help, but not for help tying their shoes? I mean, we live in a culture where we praise people for being brave enough to ask for help when they need it, but then when disabled people need help, we're suddenly a burden on society. So then as a trauma response, we're fiercely independent, and then people get mad at us for not asking for help. Not to mention that if things were made more accessibly, disabled people wouldn't need much help, so you see why this obsession with disabled people being independent makes absolutely no logical sense? So no, I will never be fully independent. I will always have a hard time remembering to eat food. I will always have limited mobility when I have a migraine. And I can live alone. I've done it before. And I was fine. But it's much better for my health if I don't. And that's why I'm going to be getting a service dog in a few years, because that's a safety net support that is always with me 24/7, and I don't have to get nervous about asking it for help because that's just its job. But I will also never be fully independent because I still call my mom to make me feel better when I'm having a hard time. I will sit in the passenger seat of a car sometimes. I will order takeout instead of cooking. The idea of true independence is a farce. No one is truly independent. Even a hermit living alone on the top of a mountain is dependent on nature for their survival. This world is interconnected, with people helping people all the time. That's the beauty of it. So why is it suddenly wrong and a burden to society if disabled people ask for help? Perhaps it's less about independence and more about ableism. Anyway, there is a little food for thought for today. I don't quite feel like saying my entire outro today, so Hope you learned a thing, and I'll see you in the next one.